Now, you said that it seems to come in decades, so it's either fashionable or not fashionable, basically, to breastfeed. Yeah. So is it the case that people are being pressured by their parents saying, well, you were bottle fed, therefore I don't see the point and you're perfectly fine? Is that the sort of wave we're going through at the moment?
I think we're coming out of that wave now. Certainly in the past, it's been very much like you say, there's nothing wrong with you kind of attitude. But we're really trying to get parents away from that attitude because they're given choices. I think before, where with the marketing of milks, anyone is able to go into any supermarket or shop and see displays of milk, but that's not promoted on TV now or in magazines. They can promote the baby milks for older children, like the follow-on milks, but not the infancy milks, because that helps to just normalise the produced artificial milk. There's been a lot more adverts where they say at the beginning of a follow-on formula milk, breast milk is obviously best for your child, however, when you move on from breastfeeding. So I think that kind of is almost like a subliminal message through the media is really helping with breastfeeding rates.
So what is so good about breastfeeding? Go down to the basics. What makes it better than bottle feeding?
It's what a baby's digestive system is expecting, and from a growth point of view too. I think where they've done studies in the past of A&E admissions, for example, for common symptoms like a gastroenteritis on a very young baby, a large proportion of those babies have been artificially fed, whereas breast milk, it helps join the gut lining, it helps with things like gastroenteritis and middle ear infections, and these are very common things in young babies, but breast milk can help counteract those symptoms, and also reducing the risk of some of the cancers that we're seeing more and more. Unfortunately, cancer seems to be quite an issue across the whole country, but with the promotion of a mother nurturing her baby from birth, they can help reduce the rates of things like ovarian and breast cancers, and those are proven studies that have been done quite recently.
Do you know any sort of protective reasons why breastfeeding might be good? Can it make your baby healthier? Can it make you healthier? What can it do? Do you know anything about that?
I heard it's good for the bones, that's about it.
I think it makes your baby stronger or something. Like when he grows up, he's going to be a healthier child.
There's research which does say that it will lower your chance of childhood obesity if you breastfeed. Your child won't be obese, won't be fat when they're young. There are things which say that it will protect against asthma and diabetes, things like that. Do you know if it's any good for the woman?
No idea.
To lower the risk of breast cancer.
Very good, very good. Yeah, it lowers the risk of breast cancer. Breast cancer used to be, this little fact which I love, breast cancer used to be called the disease of nuns in the 1700s and 1800s. Only nuns would be the ones seen with breast cancer because the majority of other women would have had children and you didn't have bottles around then, so you breastfed. Whereas now, fewer people are breastfeeding, or they're not breastfeeding for as long, and therefore we're seeing a higher incidence of breast cancer.
Everything with regards to breastfeeding has a positive react on mother and baby. We heavily promote something called biological nurturing, which is a skin-to-skin approach for mums and babies to breastfeed. I've known from experience meeting mums that have perhaps suffered some depression prior to having their children. And from a bonding point of view, it's helped with effects that they've had of depression and can reduce the risks of postnatal depression because we're keeping mothers and babies together. Commonly people say to me, what about partners and other relations feeding the baby? These are all very achievable things with expressing and storing of milk becoming easier now. But we're very much trying to promote mothers and babies in very early stages to keep them together because the health benefits for both mother and baby are there right from the start.
So it's almost like saying that, you can't leave a newborn baby to fend for itself. Therefore, it has to be with its mother, and that's why, because it's beneficial for both. They are a team there. You're going to have to be a team for a little while yet before, you send them off to school. So therefore, do it together, sort of thing.